Another challenge is that we really have a brain on top of a brain inside of a brain. That lizard brain, that mammal brain, and prefrontal cortex are what we most associate with human functioning. And sometimes the challenge is getting all those parts to work together effectively. So we really have a brain inside of a brain on top of a brain. That lizard part of the brain stem, and part of our brain that's responsible for automatic movement. And then the limbic system, the mammal part of the brain. And then that prefrontal cortex, the orchestra conductor. It makes humans so unique. And part of the challenge is getting all those parts to work together. So one of the bases in a lot of behavioral therapies is working with those more primitive parts of the brain. The mammal part of the brain, the limbic system, and then the lizard part of the brain. In other words, we try and change how we feel through changing behaviors by things we do. Most traditional therapies, unless they're working with personality clusters or personality, really working in the areas of thoughts, emotions, or behaviors. Thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all linked. That our thinking a lot of times influences the emotion that we feel. One of the challenges is that when we are in distress, the thinking mind goes offline. There's no time to do math when you're running from a lion. So in order to think and problem solve effectively, we've got to get the thinking mind back online. We've got to get the nervous system relaxed so that we can have full function of the brain. And in that time, then the survival part of the brain is not running the show. Part of skills training is to really increase adaptation, our ability to be in our environment, first of all, because when there's a lot of trauma, the mind tends to protect us by dissociating, going off. Sometimes people feel like the world's not real, or they're not in their body. And the first challenge for some folks is just tolerating and being in reality as it exists. Being able to live in the world as it is, and then broadening that window of tolerance. So this idea of acting and adapting, practicing different ways of being in the world. For some folks, that can seem challenging because it seems like you're being inauthentic. That if they don't react to an emotion, that doesn't feel authentic. This brings us to the concept of wise mind in dialectical behavior therapy. Wise mind is the ability to take in both the emotional information without reacting to it, and reason and logic to then balance it and find the best route forward. One of the challenges with working with emotions is the limbic system, and the amygdala is the gateway to the limbic system. The amygdala records based on association. So there may be something in your environment that triggers a fear response, for example. Something in the environment matches something that happened in the past that was distressing. So now that can cause a cascade of effects in the body, creating the emotion of fear. And sometimes that fear doesn't actually fit the situation, or it's not helpful. So I can pontificate and educate, but ultimately, the client's responsibilities include a few different things. First, it's the desire to change. And then, it's a willingness to do the work. Ultimately, in some form, it takes action. So the next step is to go to runningbirdtherapies.com and go ahead and request a free consultation. This can either be in video or in person here at the office or over the phone.